Last winter, thousands of EV owners across America watched their range drop by over 30% overnight. Meanwhile, gas stations stayed packed and gas-powered cars kept running without a second thought. But here's what nobody's telling you. Electric cars don't just lose range in winter, they fundamentally change how you drive. Gas cars burn more fuel and take longer to warm up. So today we're settling this once and for all. No brand bias, no marketing hype, just real data from the 2024-2025 winter season about which car type actually makes sense for American winters. Because the answer, it's probably not what you think. Before we dive into the comparison, let's get one thing straight. Winter safety isn't about horsepower or 0 to 60 times. When it's 15 degrees outside and you're stuck in traffic, winter safety means 4 things. First, will your car start every single time, no matter the temperature? Second, can you predict your range, or are you playing Russian roulette with your fuel gauge? Third, how fast can you refuel when you're low? Because in a snowstorm, every minute counts. And fourth, what's your risk of getting stranded? Because that's not just inconvenient, it's dangerous. Consumer Reports tested 4 popular EVs in near-zero temperatures this past winter. They found something shocking. Battery range dropped 25% compared to spring driving. That's not a typo. 1/4 of your range just gone. But EVs aren't the only vehicles suffering in the cold. Stick around, because what happens to gas cars might surprise you too. Let's start with EVs, because this is where things get complicated fast. In January 2025, a massive study analyzed over 30,000 electric vehicles across America during real winter conditions. Here's what they found. The average EV loses about 20 to 25% of its range when temperatures drop below freezing. But here's the kicker. Some models lose way more than that. The Nissan Leaf lost 38% of its range. The Tesla Model 3, only 24%. That's a huge difference when you're planning a winter road trip. But range loss isn't just about the cold air. Recent testing revealed that EVs with heat pumps, think of them as super efficient heaters, keep 83% of their normal range. EVs without heat pumps, only 75%. That means the technology in your specific EV matters just as much as the temperature outside. Now here's something most people don't know. Testing from January 2025 showed that if you precondition your EV while it's still plugged in, basically warming it up before you unplug, you can save 5 to 10% of your battery range. That's the difference between making it home and calling a tow truck. But the real problem? Charging in winter. When it's cold, charging slows down significantly. A charge that takes 30 minutes in summer can take 45 minutes or more in freezing temperatures. And if you're at a busy station, that wait time stacks up fast. Here's where it gets really interesting for Americans. As of January 2025, the US has about 207,000 public chargers. Sounds like a lot, right? But here's the reality. You need roughly 22 EVs for every public charger. In rural states, that ratio can climb to over 40 EVs per charger. But it's not all doom and gloom for EVs. Some models handle winter remarkably well. The Tesla Model Y, for instance, only loses about 12% of its range in winter, significantly better than many competitors. Cars with larger batteries also suffer less from range anxiety, because even after losing 25%, you still have plenty of range left. A Tesla Model 3 long range starts with 358 miles of range, so even at 25% loss, you're still looking at 268 miles, more than enough for most daily driving. The Ioniq 6 is another winter performer, with its efficient aerodynamics and heat pump helping maintain range better than most. So here's the honest truth about EVs in winter. If you have a garage with home charging, your daily commute is under 50 miles, you rarely take spontaneous long road trips, and you live in an area with decent charging infrastructure, EVs can absolutely work in winter. You just need to plan ahead, understand your specific model's winter performance, and be realistic about range expectations. But if you're in an apartment without charging access, take frequent road trips, or live in a rural area with limited charging infrastructure, winter makes EVs significantly more stressful to own. You'll be constantly calculating range, planning charging stops, and hoping the stations you need actually work when you arrive. Alright, so that's electric. But what about the vehicle most Americans still drive? Let's talk gas. Gas cars, the old reliable. Or are they? According to the U.S. Department of Energy, conventional gasoline vehicles lose about 15% of their fuel economy when temperatures drop to 20 degrees Fahrenheit. On short trips under 4 miles, that jumps to 24%. Here's why. When it's cold, your engine takes longer to reach its optimal operating temperature, and until it does, it's burning extra fuel to compensate. Think of it like your car clearing its throat every morning. It's working harder just to get going. But there's more. Cold air is literally denser than warm air. That means more air resistance when you're driving. Your engine has to push harder through that thick, cold air, especially on highways. Plus, winter blend gasoline has slightly lower energy content than summer gas. It's designed to help your car start in the cold, but you pay for it with reduced fuel economy. Your battery also struggles in the cold. That conventional 12-volt battery in your gas car, it loses about 35% of its strength at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. At 0 degrees, it loses 60% of its strength. That's why dead batteries are so common in winter. The battery is weaker, but your engine needs more power to start because cold oil is thicker and harder to pump. Modern gas cars have improved significantly, though. Features like remote start let you warm up your engine before driving, which helps both with comfort and efficiency. Block heaters, common in northern states, keep your engine warm overnight so it starts easier and reaches operating temperature faster. And synthetic oils flow much better in cold weather than conventional oils, reducing that cold start strain. Now, here's what makes gas cars different from EVs in winter. Refueling takes 3 minutes, not 30, not 45, 3. Gas stations are everywhere. According to recent data, there are over 150,000 gas stations across America. That's compared to 75,000 EV charging stations. And remember, gas stations have multiple pumps that work fast. Multiple cars can refuel simultaneously, and the process is so quick that even a line of 5 cars ahead of you means waiting maybe 15 minutes, not hours. And here's the beautiful thing about gas engines. They produce waste heat. Lots of it. In fact, only about 30% of the energy in gasoline actually moves your car. The other 70% becomes heat. In summer, that's a problem. In winter, that's free heating for your cabin. Your heater doesn't drain your fuel tank in any meaningful way. It's just capturing heat that would otherwise be wasted. Testing has shown that you can sit in a gas car with the heat cranked for hours on a single tank. Try that in an EV, and you're gambling with your battery range. If you're stuck in a traffic jam during a snowstorm, a gas car can keep you warm and safe for as long as you have fuel in the tank. An EV owner in that same situation has to make tough choices: stay warm now and risk not making it home, or freeze and preserve range. The real-world experience matters too. Take the Toyota Camry or Honda Accord. These sedans are workhorses in winter. They start reliably, heat up quickly, and their fuel economy drop is minimal compared to EVs. A Camry that gets 35 mpg in summer might drop to 28 to 30 mpg in winter. Noticeable, but not dramatic. You're still getting 400 plus miles per tank. The Mazda 3 is another winter champion, with standard all-wheel drive available, and Mazda's efficient Skyactiv engines that warm up quickly. Subaru sedans like the Legacy come with standard all-wheel drive and are legendary for winter reliability in places like Colorado and Vermont. So, what's the verdict on gas cars in winter? Yes, you'll burn 10 to 20% more fuel depending on your driving patterns. Yes, cold starts are harder on your engine and battery. And yes, you'll notice lower MPG numbers, especially on short trips. But here's what you get in return: reliability, predictability, and the confidence that you can refuel anywhere, anytime, in about 3 minutes. For most Americans, especially those in cold climates, rural areas, or apartment dwellers without charging access, gas vehicles remain the lowest stress winter option. They just work. No range anxiety, no charging station hunts, no waiting in the cold. Just fill up and go. Let's put both side by side with real winter performance data from the 2024-2025 season. Cold reliability? Gas wins here decisively. EVs struggle with battery chemistry in extreme cold, but gas cars have decades of winter engineering refinement. Modern gas cars start reliably even in sub-zero temperatures, especially with synthetic oil and a healthy battery. Refueling speed? Again, gas wins. 3 minutes at any station versus 30 to 45 minutes or more for EVs in cold weather. Even fast chargers slow down significantly when it's freezing. Cabin heating? Gas wins by a mile. Gas engines produce waste heat naturally that doesn't impact your range. EVs have to use precious battery power for heating, which directly eats into your driving range. A gas car can idle with the heat on for hours. An EV using heat might lose 30 to 40 miles of range just sitting there. Winter range? This is where things get interesting. Gas cars typically get 300 to 400 miles per tank even in winter after accounting for the efficiency loss. Some efficient models, like the Toyota Camry Hybrid, can still achieve 450+ miles per tank. EVs? Highly variable. Budget 250 to 230 miles in real winter conditions with heat running for most mainstream EVs. Premium EVs with large batteries might manage 280 to 320 miles, but that's still less than most gas cars. The important difference is that gas cars' range is predictable. You know what you're getting. EVs depend heavily on temperature, how much heat you use, highway versus city driving, and whether your specific model has a heat pump. Overall stress level? This is huge and often overlooked. EV owners in winter face high stress, constantly monitoring range, planning charging stops around routes, hoping stations work when you arrive, managing preconditioning schedules, and dealing with the anxiety of unknown range loss. It's mental overhead that compounds in winter. Gas cars? Low stress. You know exactly how far you can go. You know you can refuel anywhere in minutes. You don't think about it. Fill up when the tank is low, drive wherever you need to go. The simplicity is the point. You can make spontaneous decisions, take a different route home, add an extra stop, help a friend across town without recalculating range and charging strategy. But here's what really matters: your specific situation, because the best winter car depends entirely on how you actually live. After analyzing all the data from this past winter, here's who should buy what. Buy an EV if you have guaranteed home charging in a garage or dedicated parking spot, your daily commute is under 50 miles round trip, you rarely take spontaneous long trips and can plan ahead when you do, and you live in an urban or suburban area with good charging infrastructure. Basically, if your car can charge overnight at home and you mostly drive predictable local routes, EVs can work great even in winter. Models like the Tesla Model Y, Hyundai Ioniq 6, and BMW i4 handle winter better than most. Just avoid the Nissan Leaf. That 38% range loss is brutal and makes it impractical for winter use. Buy a gas car if you want the absolute lowest stress winter experience. You take unpredictable trips or spontaneous drives, you don't have guaranteed parking with charging access, you frequently drive long distances, or you live in rural America where charging infrastructure is sparse. Let's be honest, this is still most Americans. Gas cars just work in winter without requiring you to change your behavior, plan meticulously, or worry about infrastructure. Cars like the Toyota Camry, Honda Accord, Mazda 3, and Subaru Legacy are proven winter performers that start reliably, heat quickly, and won't leave you stranded. The Toyota Avalon offers luxury with winter reliability. The Honda Civic is efficient and dependable. Any of these will serve you well without the stress of range management. Here's the bottom line that nobody wants to hear. The safest winter car isn't about the technology, it's about matching the car to your lifestyle. An EV is safe if you never depend on public charging and can always charge at home. A gas car is safe because it's simple, proven, and works the same way it has for decades. In 2025, we have more car choices than ever. Don't buy based on what's trendy or what your neighbor drives. Buy based on how you actually live, where you park, how you commute, and what winter looks like in your area. If you have home charging and short daily drives, an EV might save you money and work great. If you're like most people with varied driving needs and limited charging access, a gas car will make your life easier, especially in winter. Now I want to hear from you. What do you drive in winter? Has it been reliable? What surprised you about cold weather performance? Drop a comment below, especially if you've experienced any of the issues we talked about today, and if this video helped you understand the real differences between electric and gas cars in winter, hit that subscribe button. We're all about honest car comparisons based on actual data, not marketing hype. Thanks for watching, and stay warm out there.